Hi, my name is Jennifer Lopez, and my presentation is about generational differences in technology proficiency and grit. My research problem. Today's multi-generational workforce requires that employers understand generational differences, particularly in terms of technological ability. Technology now supports or aids many of our daily activities. Fields 2019 states that mastering digital technology has become a key component of what it means to fully participate in today's workforce. It has been suggested that there is a significant difference between digital natives and digital immigrants. With the younger generation, the digital natives understanding technology intuitively and becoming essential for businesses, where does this leave the digital immigrants? The goal of this research is to compare grit and technology proficiency between digital natives and digital immigrants. My literature review covers several constructs in this project. DIGA 2021 states that the workplace has rapidly transitioned to online learning, and companies that do not strengthen workplace redevelopment will eventually fall behind. Colbert and George 2016 state that you do not have to look far to find evidence that technology plays a growing role in our lives. Duckworth and Gross 2014 state that learning is a long-term process where a learner invests the time and effort to research and learn any topic. The hope is that the outcome of their hard work is sustained knowledge. Studies demonstrate that even if learners pursue long-term goals, they reveal different performances due to individual psychological characteristics. DIGA 2021 states that the future of the modern workplace is not just about technology, but more importantly, how people adapt to technology. In today's world, I think if we all look back at what 2020 brought us and how everybody, for the most part, had to go home and work remote during the pandemic, we could probably all agree to a certain extent that, yes, the technology is very good to have, but how people adapt and use it is really the key of success for the employee and for the company as a whole. Digital immigrants, unlike digital natives, were not raised in a technology-rich environment. Digital immigrants were born before 1980, and they have adapted and learned to live in the digital world. That's from Prinsky, 2001. My research purpose and question. So the purpose of this study is to compare technology proficiency and grit between digital natives and digital immigrants. My first research question, is there a difference in technology proficiency in digital natives and digital immigrants? My second research question, is there a difference in grit between digital natives and digital immigrants? Those first two are the quantitative part of my study. And my last research question number 3, is a qualitative part of my study, and it asks, how would digital natives describe technology proficiency, and how would digital immigrants describe technology proficiency? I used an explanatory sequential mixed method design for my research design. The quantitative part of my study used the technology proficiency self-assessment survey. This survey is used to measure an individual's technology proficiency, and I also use the short grit survey, which is used to measure trait level perseverance and passion for long-term goals. For the qualitative part of my study, this consisted of one-on-one interviews with selected participants. The researcher explored the generational differences in technology during these one-on-one interviews. My population and sample. My population was anyone 18 years of age or older who were members of a particular Facebook group. This Facebook group is dedicated to current doctoral students and currently has 6,000 members. The sample consisted of 46 doctoral students who participated. For my instrumentation, I use the Technology Proficiency Self-Assessment Questionnaire, and I also use the Short Grit Scale Questionnaire. Both of these have Cronbach's Alpha that was used to provide reliability. The survey uses a 5-point Likert scale. 1 was strongly disagree, 2 agree, 3 undecided, 4 agree, and 5 strongly disagree. For my data collection, for the quantitative part, surveys were loaded into Qualtrics. An anonymous link was generated. The link was shared via Facebook to the group of the doctoral students that had 6,000 members. And for the qualitative portion, at the end of the survey, participants were asked to volunteer for interviews. Participants who volunteered to interview submitted their email addresses, and then the researcher emailed the volunteers and conducted one-on-one interviews via Zoom. For my data analysis, for my quantitative portion, independent sample t-tests were run using IBM's statistical package for the social sciences, or SPSS. And this was used to determine if there was a difference in technology proficiency and grit between digital immigrants and digital natives. And for the qualitative part, all interviews were recorded, then hand transcribed by the researcher. The transcriptions were then analyzed for common themes. For my results, this first slide shows the participant demographics. Once again, 18 years of age or older, belonging to this group of 6,000 members. 46 participated in the survey. Of the 46, this graph shows you that 42 of those participants were female, which was 91.3%, and 4 male, which was 8.7%. And then for the breakdown of digital native versus digital immigrant, 47.8% were digital natives and 52.2% were digital immigrants. Not 50-50, but pretty close. For results for my quantitative research question 1, is there a difference in technology proficiency in digital immigrants and digital natives? An independent samples t-test was conducted. The dependent variable was technology proficiency, and the independent variables were digital natives and digital immigrants. After everything was run, the independent sample t-test showed that there was not a significant difference between the impact on technology proficiency. For my second research question, is there a difference in grit between digital natives and digital immigrants? A second independent sample t-test was conducted. For this question, the dependent variable was grit, and the independent variable was the digital natives and the digital immigrants. And once again, there was no significant difference. The participant demographics for my last research question, which was a qualitative part of my study, the participants that volunteered consisted 75% identified as female, so that was 3, and 25% identified as male, so that was 1. The total number was 4 participants for the qualitative section. Between those 4, half were digital natives and half were digital immigrants. And they volunteered and sent their email, and the researcher scheduled one-on-one interviews. So the last research question was, how would digital natives describe technology proficiency, and how would digital immigrants describe technology proficiency? Of the 4, 75% of the interview participants had never heard of the term, but once it was explained to them, 50% of them stated that they would consider themselves digital immigrants, and 25% stated that they would consider themselves digital natives. So in summary, this survey was sent out via Facebook in the fall of 2021. Of 6,000 current members, 46 participated. The gender data shows that 91.3 identified as female, which was 42 participants, and 8.7 identified as male, which was 4. So even though the gender data skewed higher for female, in regards to the difference in digital natives versus digital immigrants, that was almost half, 52.2%, saying they were digital immigrants, and 47.8 or 22 stating they were digital natives. For my qualitative analysis, 75 identified as female, 25 identified as male, and they were split 50-50 with how many digital natives and how many digital immigrants per their explanation. In conclusion, the research for this project showed that there was no significant difference between digital immigrants and digital natives regarding technology proficiency and grit. And I believe that continued research is needed. With more time, more qualitative interviews are likely to happen, which could change that no difference, that conclusion that I have now. Thank you.